Hello everyone, it's your girl Bilikis. How you all doing? Today's tutorial is going to be on hand-off shoulder dress with a slit in front, and trust me, it is the easiest thing ever. Yes. So what are the essential measurements you need? You need your horizontal circumference, your vertical. The most important I will be talking about is your floor length measurement. Like mine is 62 inches. That is without hemming allowance. But for an off shoulder, on the average, you should take away minimum of 5 inches from the upper part because it will be starting around this place. So, but you don't have to forget that you will need an elastic casing depending on the width of your elastic. So for that, I'll just make use of 1 inch or 1.5. So instead of taking away 5 inches, I will take away 4 inches from 62 inches, which is my floor length. So before we get started on the work table, if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit on the notification bell. You can join us on our Facebook group, Sewing Innovation. It is a lovely group in which you will fall in love with. Follow me on Instagram, Bilikis Signatures. I will be waiting for you there. So right now, let's go over to a work table. Now I have all my measurement mapped out on my fabric. So remember I said I will be taking away 4 inches from the 62 inches measurement. So if I take away 4 from that, it would be 58. But later I measure 60 inches because of the 2 inches hemming allowance for the lower part. So what I will do now is this. Your measurement has to start from 4 because we are taking 4 inches away to still maintain our measurements. So now this is the baseline. Can you see that? So I will place 4 on this, 4 inches on this. So this is half of my armhole, which is 8.5. This is my waist measurement, then my hip measurement, and then the length of my dress. For the horizontal measurement now, to get the maximum fabric you will need, all you have to do is quarter of your hip measurement plus maximum of 3 or 4 inches. Start adding the horizontal measurement. So note, because this is an off shoulder dress and it's going to have an elastic at the upper part, so all the horizontal measurements I will add minimum of 2 inches to it because I want to have a little bit of ruffles and I want it to be free and still be fitted at the same time. So remember, half of your shoulder measurement will be imputed here. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8.5 inches, but I said earlier on I will add 2 inches to whatever measurement I have, so that will make it 10.5, which will be here. Let me see that. So I've also measured that here, 10.5. So instead of using your normal shoulder measurement of 8.5 on your chest line, because this is my chest line, which is 8.5, but remember we took away 4 inches. So now we added 2, so it's now 10.5 inches, which is here. Then the next thing will be my bust measurement. Let me draw a straight line so that you won't get confused. So this is what I have. So this will now be our shoulder measurement. So the next thing is to add my bust measurement. Quarter of my bust measurement is 10.5 inches. So when I add 2 to it, that will make it 12.5 inches, which will be here. And remember, 1 inch for hemming allowance. Then I'll go over to my waist. Quarter of my waist measurement is 9 inches. Then I'll add extra 2 inches to it. So going over the waist again, quarter of my waist measurement is 9 inches, but I said I will add 2 inches to hold the horizontal measurement. So instead of 9 inches, I will make it 11. That will be here. Then 1 inch for the hemming allowance. We will go over to the hip measurement. Quarter of my hip measurement is 11, so plus 2, that will make it 13 inches. 13 inches is here. Then 1 inch for the hemming allowance. So because this is a straight gown, for easy movement will be the slit we will put in front of it. So this will just go straight down to wherever the dress will stop. So right now I'll connect all these lines. Then take the hip curve, connect the hip. The tools are available because they make life easy. They are good on fabric and at the same time on paper. So the next thing now is to draw a straight line down to the hem of straight line down to the hem of the dress. Can you see that? So before we cut it out, let's go over to work on the armhole area. So what I'll do now is to get my armhole curve. So now this is the armhole curve, then I can connect to this part. So the armhole is fixed. So what I'll do now is to cut it out before going over to the cape. So I will have to cut this baseline because I just use that to achieve a straight line. So that's good as done. So for the slit now, I will just open this up and then work on the front panel alone. So now for the slit in front, you have to determine where you want it to start from, that is from the upper part. So I want it to be above my knee level because it is a straight dress, so you need to make it be above your knee level so as to have easy movement. So the measurement for me is 34 inches. So remember, you have to start from 4, putting that on this line. So 34 inches will be here. I will mark a point, then make it into a straight line. This is the 34 inches, this is where it is, then I will pull this up. Now to know where the slit will be, that's very easy. You just use your bust span measurements like you use for your dart. Half of my bust span measurement is 4.5, but remember we added 2 inches to hold the. I will have 6.5 inches. I'll go over that again. Half of my bust span is 4.5 inches, but because I added 2 inches to hold the horizontal measurement, I will have to add the 2 inches to the dart measurement of 4.5. So that will make it 6.5 inches, which I have here. Then I'll go over to the hem of the dress, measure 6.5. Can you see that? Then I will connect in a straight line. So this will be taping with a bias strip. Then I'll open this up and then slit it from here down to here. In case you want it to be wider, you don't just want to have it straight. All you can do is just do it as if you are taking in a dart. Go half inch here, then you connect straight down to this part and then you cut it off. But I just want it to be straight this way, then I will finish up with a bias strip. Right now for the cape, this is what I have. I have 2 fabric on fold. This is on fold, this is also on fold. You could just cut out a long straight piece, but to manage my fabric, I'll just cut 2. So it will be like one for the back, one for the front. The length of my cape, I want it to be 8 inches, so I have 8 inches here. But remember, I left 1 inch on the main dress for the elastic casing, so that will make it 9. Then I will need 1 inch to hem the lower part of this cape. That makes it 10 inches. That's why I have 10 inches here. So for this measurement, what you will need now is the circumference of your shoulder. Like the circumference of my shoulder is 48.5, but let's just assume it's 50. You should measure yours. Then I will multiply that by 2. When I multiply by 2, that will give me 100 inches. Then because I have 4 here now, 1 for the back, 1 for the front, so I will divide that 100 by 4. And if I divide it by 4, I will have 25 inches. Can you see that? So this is 25 inches on fold for both. So now I have my cape. So what I will do now is to join both front and back together. The next stage is the sewing now. What I will have to do now is to join the sides on the wrong side of the fabric. I will have to join all the side, the other side, then I will join both front and back of the cape together, then I will show you the next step. Now, can you see I've joined the sides? This is what it looks like. I hem the lower part with a bias strip, and you can see the slits. Can you see that? So I'll have to give it a good press to make it slip down. Looking at the upper part here, the armhole area has been touched. Can you see? I just tape it in. You can use a bias strip to fit that in, but I just use a little of some fabric there. Now I will show you how to fix the cape to the upper part. The cape together. Can you see? I join here and here. So what I'll do now, before attaching it to the main fabric, is to fold it, because I need to get the center point. So this is the center point, then I will notch this part. So after notching, I have to open it up again. So this is the midpoint. This is the midpoint here. It's easier for me because of my chalk. You can notch that too. So the dress goes inward. Let me see. Then you place this on top of this. So this has to match. Can you see this? So I've pinned the midpoint. Can you see where I notch on both the cape and the main dress? Then this is the armhole area. I'll pin this down too. And this other one. So this is what it looks like. So can you see? So I will have to attach these two. This is the notch area. It has to match up with this. And then this part. So I will have to take it to the sewing machine now, and then sew this down, the main dress to the cape, this also to the cape. Then I'll bring it back to show you how it looks. Now this is what it looks like after sewing it. Can you see that? Can you see the excess of the cape? Then what I'll do now is to fold in 1 inch and 1.5, depending on what you left. Can you see that? And I will pin it down all through. So I'll keep doing that. 1/4 inch and 1 inch. Can you see that? I will do this all through, including the cape, because the elastic will have to pass through it. Can you see that? So you have to rotate it all through. I will do that on the sewing machine and then show you how it looks. After fixing the casing for the elastic, I added the elastic. This is what it looks like. The selvage looks good, so I decided to leave it. So this is the armhole. Can you see that? So this will be the sleeve. So everything has been fitted in so well. So this is how it looks. Can you see the slit? And that is how it looks. This is the belt. I made a very long belt. On fold, it's 56 inches, so it's quite long. So I'll just put it on to show you how lovely it looks. This is the result of the outfit we just made. Can you see it's so nice, it's so lovely? Just make sure you make yours and share with us on our Facebook page, Sewing Innovations. So bye for now.